live weather impact alert that is for Saturday through Monday morning for the cold. We're talking about 60 plus hours of temperatures at or below freezing here through the weekend. We may get up to 33 degrees briefly on Sunday afternoon. That's just 1 degree above freezing, and then back to below freezing, and then finally not really warming up anymore into the 40s until we get into Monday. Now, the other reason, not only is the cold air, but also for that potential for snow, and that time frame is mainly overnight Friday into early Saturday. I'm thinking after lunchtime, that's going to be tapering off from west to east as the system exits our area. So bundle up all weekend long, as you're going to need those extra layers because it is going to be really cold. In fact, take a look at this cold that we're talking about here. Those frigid temperatures really pretty much below freezing the entire weekend, except maybe just a couple of hours in the afternoon on Sunday when we may hit 33 degrees. The snow risk mainly is for Saturday. Again, that potential of maybe 1 inch in the metro area, maybe some spots with 1 to 2 inches. The tricky part with this system is that this is a really dry air mass as moisture is moving into it. So the snow ratios are actually higher with this, the water to snow ratio. So even a little bit of snow, a little bit of moisture could cause a good bit of snow there. So that's what's making these snow totals very tricky. Also, this is as we mentioned, a dry snow. It might blow around a little bit and there might be drifts, or there might be bands of snow that are heavier than others. So that main snow risk is going to be early Saturday, tapering off into the afternoon. So stay alert. As you know, and we've been telling you, this is an evolving forecast. Today's forecast is a little bit different than it was yesterday. Tomorrow's forecast is probably going to be a little different than it was today. So stay with us each and every day as we fine tune this until we get closer to it. Now, let's take a look at what we're watching with the potential for some accumulating snow. Now, this pretty much lines up with the National Weather Service's Winter Storm Watch. Now, we are showing flurries possible that go back to the Georgia and Alabama line. Mainly northwest Georgia might see a better chance for some of those flurries and maybe some light accumulations there early on Saturday. Then as you get over towards 75 through Atlanta and down to the south here, in that rough corridor, that's where we could see possibly 1 to 2 inches of snow. And then as you go over a little bit more into East Georgia, that's where we have that potential for mainly 2 to 4 inches of snow in those areas more to the east and closer to the Georgia and South Carolina line. In South Carolina, we could see 4+ inches of snow there, maybe some of those higher amounts as well in the mountains of North Georgia. So it's going to be interesting to watch which of these areas see the highest amounts of snow coming in here. So something to watch into Saturday along with that really cold air. Now here's the snow comparison map, where really what I want you to focus in. I know both models are a little different about anything happening over West Georgia. In fact, the GFS doesn't show much at all over Atlanta, whereas the European does show more in Alabama, a little bit more over into parts of West Georgia. But both models indicating those higher amounts to the north and also to the east of us. Even that purple color is indicating over 4 inches of snow in parts of northeast Georgia, as well as the European model showing maybe 4 inch plus from Athens northward. So a lot to watch with this system, and these snow totals are going to be very tricky here because it is a dry and powdery snow, not a wet snow that's going to be coming down, and those snow ratios are different with this. This is the graph model. This is showing it as it moves in Friday night into Saturday morning. Saturday by 7, we might already have some snow trying to accumulate on some grassy areas. And then once it moves out, this is at lunchtime. I really think of the back edge of the snow that's falling is already going to be pushing over to the east. But again, those lighter amounts here in metro Atlanta, maybe a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Blue color indicating those spots that might be getting 1 to 2 inches, 2 to 4. As you see here, after lunch, those numbers start growing a little bit more over on the east side. And it's because those areas to the east of us are going to be seeing snow for a longer period than we will over in West Georgia or even here in the metro Atlanta area. So snow totals are going to be tricky. We'll be refining this forecast later tonight and also through the day tomorrow too. So just to remember, we have this 11 Alive weather impact alert Snow is only one of the reasons for this alert. The other reason is because of the really cold air that we're going to be experiencing. As I mentioned, we're talking 60 plus hours at temperatures that'll be at or below freezing Friday night through early on Monday morning. And we also have an extreme cold watch in effect for all of North Georgia, Metro Atlanta, and down to the south. Narrowing this down to the coldest part of the weekend, we think is going to be about 7 o'clock on Saturday evening through the early morning hours on Sunday until about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when the cold air is also going to be mixing in with the wind, and we're talking about wind chill readings that could be 5 below zero to up to about 5 above zero during that time frame with that really cold air in place. So here is the forecast track where you can see here, actually satellite and radar, where you can see tonight we have a few clouds around here this evening trying to clear out over parts of North Georgia, and we're going to see generally a mixture of sunshine and clouds during the day tomorrow, maybe even more clouds than sun here as we end up the week. But we're not expecting really any rain. Earlier we had a 20% chance for a shower in for Friday, but we've taken that out. There might be a couple little showers on the south side, but most of us are going to stay dry. Great view right now down in Noonan in Coweta County where we've got good visibility. You can kind of see there from the light shining up in the sky that there are a few of the clouds around there on the south side. In Rome, not as many clouds around, and we're not seeing the flags blowing that much either. Just really a rather cool night right now in Rome. And then this is our tower cam at Arizona Avenue in DeKalb County, looking westward toward the city of Atlanta. And again, good visibility here. You do see a few of those clouds around, but these clouds are not the rain producers at all. Temperatures today made it up into the upper 40s to around 50 degrees for a high. Right now we're at 40 degrees here in town, but outside the city we have more of those 30s around, just 1 degree above freezing right now in Peachtree City, and over in Carrollton 34 in Canton, 34 in Rome, but 20s in Dalton and in Blairsville. So a little bit of a range of temperatures depending on who has clouds and who has mainly clear skies. During the day tomorrow, it's going to be a chilly start with temperatures at about 29 degrees early in the morning, and then we start moving up during the afternoon hours. Topping off, we're thinking around 49 degrees, but with a few more clouds that'll be blocking out the sun at times. Not a complete overcast, but just a few of those clouds here and there that'll be blocking out the sun. Here is the forecast track. Let's walk through this and kind of study this as we progress through it kind of at a slow pace here. Tonight, we're looking good. Tomorrow morning, partly cloudy skies generally, some clouds in spots, some sunshine in spots, and then going into the noontime hour, a few of those clouds around. In the afternoon, a couple clouds around. There's maybe a couple showers around Thomaston, south of us during the late afternoon hours tomorrow. And then we go from Friday night into Saturday morning, all right? This is the potential coverage area of who could be seeing snow here on your Saturday morning. Maybe some batches of snow in West Georgia. The better coverage of that snow from Atlanta down to the south and over to the east. And notice that this area is getting the potential for some pockets of heavier snow. Another thing that's going to be tricky with this system, with the really dry air that we have in place, is that we could see some bands of heavier snow set up. We could see some wind with that dry air making some of the snow drift a little bit in some spots. So, you know, not like we're seeing major snow drifts or anything like that, but just the bits of snow that come down might drift a little bit too. So now let's go from 7 in the morning to lunchtime. And you see how that back edge of the snow starts pulling away from Atlanta, but still good snow amounts over to the east of us for the lunchtime hour on Saturday. And then continuing to watch the back edge of that snow pulling away even more. By 4 o'clock, the back edge is away from Athens, pulling away from Eatonton, and exiting our area. So through the late morning to around lunchtime and into the afternoon, we're going to progressively see the snow ending from west to east and then moving out. But again, those areas on the east side that have snow for a longer period of time have the better chance of getting some accumulating snow. Then clouds are going to be clearing out later on Saturday night into Sunday. And Sunday morning, it is not only going to be windy, but it is going to be cold. We're talking about lows around 15 degrees, but factor in the wind, and it's going to feel like 0 or maybe a degree or 2 below 0 here on Sunday morning, and staying really cold going through the lunchtime hour. Now, remember on Saturday, we don't even get above freezing. We're going to see highs around 28 degrees on Saturday afternoon. Then on Sunday, potentially getting up to 33. That'll be just 1 degree above freezing for just a brief period before we go back to below freezing and then move back down to the lower 20s here on Monday morning. And then Monday afternoon, that's when we think that we'll get back up into the 40s and then 50s here for Tuesday as well as on your Wednesday. Here's a look at that Arctic air coming in from way up to the north through Canada, the Great Lakes, just diving down into our area, that coldest air arriving on Saturday, sticking with us into early on Sunday before it starts to retreat and go back up to the north. But even though the Arctic air, the really cold air, moves away, it's still going to remain chilly here. On Monday, we're talking about lower 40s potentially, and then 50s on Tuesday as well as on Wednesday, with the rain chance that'll be coming back toward the middle of the week too. So staying cool, not crazy cold, but at least cool here for the first part of the week and into the middle of the week. So here's a look at your low temperatures. Yeah, this is where it gets a little crazy here. 29 Friday morning, 25 Saturday morning, 15 Sunday morning, but with the wind feeling even colder. Then 21 Monday, and then still cold Tuesday, but at least not as cold with lows near 27. And then look at the ups and downs with these highs. 49 for a high tomorrow, 28 for a high on Saturday. So not even getting up to the freezing mark, not even getting out of the 20s, not even up to 30 degrees on Saturday. Then 33 Sunday. There you see the 40s Monday, and then 50s coming in here on Tuesday. So here is that 7-day outlook, kind of bringing all of this together for you. And you'll notice that really that slightly warmer day on Friday at 49, and then really cold for the weekend in the 20s on Saturday. We're watching some of that snow around, mainly early in the day. Sunday morning 15, but feeling even colder, then up to 33. 21 Monday morning, and then starting to thaw out a little bit, getting to 44 Monday afternoon, 51 on Tuesday, 52 on Wednesday, 50 on Thursday. And there you see those rain chances coming back relatively on the low end Wednesday at about 30%, then a 20% chance for showers in here for your Thursday. So we're going to continue with additional extended weather updates, another one coming up at 9 o'clock and then 10 o'clock, and then of course our newscast tonight at 11 o'clock. And then we're going to have streaming updates all day long here during the day on Friday, and a lot of weather updates in there with that as well, with Chesley, Nicole, Melissa is going to be helping out with that too. And of course I'll be in the afternoon with a lot more of those. So you know, when you need weather information, we're going to have it for you here at 11 Alive Plus. So thanks for watching this update. We'll have another one coming up in about, let's say 45 minutes at 9 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Evening, it's 9 o'clock, and I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team. We are giving you continuous coverage here with radar and extended weather updates throughout the evening. We're also going to have streaming updates all throughout the day here tomorrow, beginning at 4:30 a.m. We're going to be streaming through our afternoon and evening newscast here. We're giving you updates on what we're watching with this weather impact alert that's going to be in effect Saturday, Sunday, and also into Monday morning. The other thing we're watching is a winter storm watch that is in effect. It does include the metro Atlanta area and all of northeast Georgia and areas to the east of us, where the chances for snow are greater to the east of us, but there is the potential for some snow even here in the metro area, mainly overnight Friday into early on Saturday. So we have a lot to watch. We are doing this extended weather update. We know that you're hungry for some weather information, so we want to be able to give that to you. And we're going to do it in an extended format here. We're going to be talking most likely for about the next 15 minutes about what's happening here with our weather and what to expect as we head into the weekend. And the main thing I want you to know, it is going to be really, really cold. That's the main reason we have issued this 11 Alive Weather Impact Alert. But there's also snow as one of the components of that. And that's going to be mainly in a time frame of overnight Friday through the early part of the day Saturday before the snow starts tapering off. But whatever does fall and whatever does accumulate might stick around for a bit, because we're not even going to get to the freezing mark here on your Saturday afternoon. It's going to be windy. It is going to be cold. We've got some crazy wind chills coming our way going into Saturday night and also into Sunday morning. So let's first start with the winter storm watch that's in effect. Earlier, the National Weather Service issued this watch for mainly East Georgia. Then around lunchtime, with new computer model data that was coming in, they moved it over to include the metro Atlanta area. So it does include Atlanta proper here, Fulton County, Clayton County, Henry County, DeKalb, Cobb County's in that, as well as Cherokee County. Bartow County's not in it, Paulding County's not in it, Douglas County is not in it as of right now. It is possible that they may extend that over a little bit more to the west, because we do see the potential for some snow to occur in parts of West Georgia. It's just whether or not it's going to be enough to accumulate there, but it's possible they may extend that over into parts of West Georgia. So what we're looking at here in the metro area, generally, let's say up to 2 inches possible, maybe 1 to 2 inches. It's not even a guarantee that we'll even get 1 inch. So 0 to 2 inches of snow possible for overnight Friday into early on Saturday. Then, as you go more over to the east, whether you're going up 85 or out I-20 or 316 toward Athens, those snow amounts are going to start creeping up the more you go over to the east. In fact, Athens could see 2 to 4 inches of snow possible there. And those higher amounts over near the Georgia-South Carolina line and over into South Carolina, maybe 4+ inches of snow there. So it's all based on where we're all going to have cold air, but it's all based on where is most of that moisture going to be in order for that to mix with the cold air to give us any of the snow. So we have been telling you this week that we have an 11 Alive Weather Impact Alert in effect, mainly for the cold air into the weekend. We're talking Saturday through Monday morning, and we could see 60+ hours of temperatures at freezing or below. We may get up to 33 degrees briefly on Sunday afternoon, just for a small amount of time before we go back to below freezing, and then won't get back above freezing until late morning on Monday, and then back to the 40s on Monday afternoon. So in a prolonged period of really cold air. And number one, you don't want to be out that long in that. Number two, this is the kind of length for freezing temperatures that you could see some pipes freezing. So make sure that you're wrapping your outside spigots. Maybe if you can, from the inside, a lot of times you can turn off the water flow to those outdoor spigots. You might want to do that as well. Or if you have any pipes that are susceptible to freezing, like maybe pipes on the outside wall, or if you don't have a lot of insulation, like if you have a crawl space or something, and there's pipes underneath your house, then there's not a lot of insulation around them. You're going to want to take care of those, because again, this could cause some pipe bursting type weather. So the main thing is the really cold air Saturday through Monday. The snow part is early on Saturday. The rest of the weekend is just going to be really cold. So you've got to wear extra layers. It is going to be just really cold, and the wind is going to make it even worse, especially later Saturday and into Sunday. So these are the main things we're watching. Frigid temperatures, generally below freezing pretty much through the whole weekend. Again, maybe up to 33 for a brief period Sunday afternoon. The snow risk is mainly early Saturday, maybe before you wake up to around mid-morning. At lunchtime for Metro Atlanta, it's pretty much going to be ending, but then the back edge going over to the east of us, it'll be just gradually tapering off from west to east around lunchtime and after here. But whatever does fall and whatever does accumulate may stick around for a while, because we're not going to get above freezing on Saturday, and it's going to be really cold on Sunday, so things could be slick even Saturday night and into Sunday too. So stay alert. This is an evolving forecast. We tell you all the time, we most likely are going to be updating and fine-tuning this every day. Today's forecast is a little bit different from the one that we had yesterday. Tomorrow's forecast may be a little bit different than the one that we have today. As we get closer to it, we're going to try to pinpoint what we think is going to be happening there throughout the weekend. So here's a look, and again, this is something that's going to be evolving as well. This is a look at the potential snow accumulations. Now we're thinking pretty much along 75 and west of that, we may just have some flurries, possibly some light accumulations, but not a lot. Maybe a ½ inch, maybe some areas closer to an inch, just in some bands, but not widespread accumulations there. Then as you get past 75 here, around the metro area, pretty much east of 75, this lighter blue color is where we're going to have the potential for maybe an inch, maybe 1 to 2 inches. Again, these are just general ranges that we're talking about. The thing I want you to notice, though, is as you get more over to the east, maybe in parts of eastern Gwinnett, into parts of Walton County, Morgan County, also up into Hall County, White County, Lumpkin County, Dawson County, that line over to the east to the Georgia line, 2 to 4 inches of snow possible. Athens, not out of the question. You can see 4 inches of snow there. And in the mountains, maybe 4+ inches of snow. I do think that the 4+ inches of snow would be more likely along the Georgia state line and over into South Carolina, where I think they're going to have more abundant moisture there, with those snow chances maybe being a little bit higher. So here's the snow comparison. Let me put this up full screen so you can look at this a little bit better. The American model has been showing that potential for some of that snow in West Georgia, and then maybe a little hole around Atlanta, and then those higher amounts to the east of us. Compare that to the European model, which does have some mainly light accumulations over in West Georgia, lighter accumulations here in Atlanta, and then those heavier accumulations going over to the west of us. So that really is the trend in both of these models, even though there's kind of some discrepancies about West Georgia and Atlanta in the GFS and the American. But the main thing is that both of these models agree that west of the city is where we're going to have, east of the city is where we're going to have those higher snowfall totals there. And in fact, this kind of purplish color that you see there, is talking 3 to 5 inches of snow. I don't know that we would definitely get that in parts of northeast Georgia, but the same thing for the European, Athens northward, potentially 4 to 5 inches of snow there. So that's what we're going to be watching for. This is the kind of snow that really is hard to be specific about these accumulations, because it's going to be a dry snow. A lot of times we talk about the snowfall ratios, the water equivalent, like let's say normally it's a 1 to 10 ratio. Let's say you would get 1/10 of an inch of rain would be the equivalent to an inch of snow, or 0.25 inches of rain would be the equivalent to 2.5 inches of snow. This ratio is a lot different because the air is a lot drier, and 1/10 of an inch of snow could be more like a 1/10 of an inch of rain. The equivalent of that could be more like 2 inches of snow. So these snow totals are going to be really tricky here, because it's going to be a really dry snow, not a wet snow, but a dry snow. And the thing about that is when it comes down, it could blow around a lot in the wind. It could hit the street and then blow off the street rather than sticking to it. So the snow totals are tricky, and the impacts of this snow are tricky as well, because we'll have to see how that's going to interact there with the streets, whether it's going to blow off the street or get stuck to it to make things slippery. I do think there will be some slick travel around. The good news about this system, it's not an ice storm. This is not freezing rain. This is going to be snow. It's going to be cold in the entire column of air. So it's going to be coming down as snow here. So here's a look going into 7 o'clock Saturday morning where we could start seeing some of those accumulations, generally light around Metro Atlanta. And then through the rest of the morning hours to around lunchtime, still not impressive snow totals here in Atlanta, but it's to the east of the city. This is the graph model. This is different from the American and different from the European. But again, this model is showing that emphasis there north and east of us where we're going to see some of those higher amounts and then tapering off in the afternoon hours. So Athens, again, showing the purple and pink color there. Maybe 3, 4, 5 inches of snow in Athens and up in the mountains. And then again, along the Georgia coast, the Georgia border, Georgia line there between South Carolina, and then over into South Carolina, a lot of those totals that could be around 4, 5 inches as well. So that is the trend. Highest amounts to the east of us, varying amounts here for Metro Atlanta and over to the west, even though I do think we'll have at least some flurries around and maybe some light accumulations in spots. The other big story, I know that a lot of people are distracted by or focusing on just mainly the snow forecast. The thing that really is going to impact all of us will be the really cold air and will be the prolonged nature of this cold air. We're talking 60 plus hours of temperatures at freezing or below from Friday night and into Monday. And that's why we have an extreme cold watch in effect. We think that would be upgraded to an extreme cold warning soon. This watch is mainly for the hours where we're going to have the coldest air of the weekend, which we think will be between 7 o'clock on Saturday to Sunday around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's with winds that are going to make the temperatures feel even colder. We could see wind chills in that time frame at 5 below to 5 above zero. So really, really cold air. So you might want to avoid the outdoors during that time frame too. We have a few clouds around out there right now, but these clouds are not giving us any type of rain or anything. And again, we've got some relatively dry air in before that moisture starts coming in on overnight Friday and into Saturday morning. Noonan's looking good, live camera there. Also nice view up in northwest Georgia in Rome. Things are looking nice there. And then of course I always love this camera. Our tower cam there at Arizona Avenue looking westward toward the city. Great visibility there. And again, some of those clouds around the area. Here's a look at our high today. We got up to 48. Our low this morning was 28. Still below average. We should be around 55 and 36 for this time of year. So here's a look at the last 20 hours. That coldest air, of course, was this morning. Then we were able to get up into the 40s. We have been holding in the 40s up until the 8 o'clock hour. Now at 9 o'clock, we have temperatures that are at 38 degrees. And you can see that chilly air all around. And Athens is at 39, Eatonton 39. These are the warmer spots here as well as Atlanta. Elsewhere, low and mid 30s. We got freezing right now in Canton, below freezing in Carrollton where it's 30 degrees there, below freezing in Peachtree City, 31. We've got the 20s up in far north Georgia. During the day tomorrow, we start off around 29 degrees, and then we'll see those temperatures warming into the upper 40s again. And another day with sunshine mixing in with a few clouds, but still no rain expected here in our area. So here's the forecast track. Let's time out the dry weather tonight. Tomorrow, dealing with some clouds mixing in with the sunshine, but maybe a little shower down on the south side, but nothing really widespread. And then here we go Saturday. Look at that coverage of snow. This is at 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. Spotty snow showers on the west side and into Metro Atlanta. The better coverage of snow east of the city, and it's going to be on the east side where that snow is going to be falling longer. That's why we think they may have some higher amounts over to the east of us. Look at the back edge of the snow as it starts feeding through our area at lunchtime. It may be over already for Atlanta, but still snowing to the east of us. And then that back edge continues to move away and out of here by the mid-afternoon to late afternoon hours. And then the snow would be finished falling from the sky, but then it's just whatever is left behind may stick around for a bit because, again, those temperatures won't get above freezing on Saturday and barely above freezing going into Sunday. So it depends on how thick that snow is and if the dry air can kind of eat away at it. Overnight, Saturday and into Sunday, it's going to be really cold and dry. And the wind may also blow away some of that snow or help to evaporate some of the snow around with the windy conditions. So Sunday, maybe some tricky travel in spots, but really, really cold air. We do get up to 33, though, in the afternoon before warming up a little bit more going into Monday with highs in the afternoon Monday. That'll be in the 40s. So there's that high of 49 on Friday with partly cloudy skies. Weather impact alert Saturday, Sunday, and Monday because of the cold air, and then Saturday morning is the time frame most likely for some of that snow around. And then we get back up to 44 on Monday. How about lower 50s Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday? Also with those lower rain chances here for Wednesday, Thursday, only at about a 20 to 30% chance. I think Wednesday would be the 30% chance, 20% chance on Thursday. So we're going to have another update for you coming up at 10 o'clock in about 45 minutes. And then, of course, another update at 11 o'clock with our newscast on 11 Alive News. And we're going to have updates here on 11 Alive Plus all throughout the day tomorrow, beginning at 4:30, and then additional streams there through 9 o'clock, and then our special streams from 9 to 11, our newscasts from at 11 o'clock, and then additional streams throughout the afternoon. Many of those streams will be heavily dictated by our weather team and the new weather information that we're getting in. I really expect that this winter storm watch will be upgraded to a winter storm warning for some spots, and the cold weather advisory, extreme cold advisory or watch, will be upgraded to an extreme cold warning for some areas too. So we'll have all that for you when it comes down. So thanks for watching this extended update. The next one coming up in less than 45 minutes. 10 o'clock. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team. We have been doing numerous extended weather updates here on 11 Alive Plus throughout the evening tonight as we get closer and closer to the weekend, where we have an 11 Alive Weather Impact Alert in effect for Sunday through early Monday due to the cold air. But we're also watching some moisture that's going to be mixing in with that cold air, and that could be in the form of snow. And that's why there is a winter storm watch in effect for East Georgia and including the metro Atlanta area. You can see all these counties here in blue from Atlanta northward, also down the 75 corridor there toward Macon. That line over toward the east is where we have this winter storm watch in effect. And this is because it's going to be really cold here on Saturday. We have some moisture that's going to be moving into that cold air, and that moisture is going to be in the form of snow in some spots. Now, in metro Atlanta, we're thinking maybe up to 2 inches possible in some areas. Some spots might get less than 1 inch. Some areas might get closer to 2. And then east of the city, we're talking about some snow totals roughly between 2 and 4 inches. Those higher amounts we think will be along the Georgia and South Carolina line, and then even higher amounts going into South Carolina. So this is what we're going to be watching. We could see some slick travel in spots. The good news about this system, though, it is not going to be an ice storm. This is not going to be ice. The column of air from the ground all the way up is going to be cold enough that this is going to be snow. It's not going to be raindrops freezing into ice when it hits the ground. This is going to be snow from all the way up in the ice crystals in the sky all the way down toward the ground. It's going to be staying as a snowflake. And it's also going to be a very dry snow instead of a wet snow. Wet snow, this is going to be a dry and fluffy snow. So that's why these snowfall totals and accumulations are really tricky, because the snow ratios are different with a dry snow than it is with a regular snow, where there would be a 10-to-1 ratio of water to snow content there. It's going to be a higher ratio for this drier snow. So this is what we've got going on. We have the 11 Alive Weather Impact Alert in effect Sunday, or actually Saturday through Monday morning. This is mainly for the cold air. We're talking about 60 plus hours with temperatures that are going to be at or below freezing coming up this weekend. That not only is dangerous for you to be outside for a long period of time, but it's also can be dangerous for your pipes as well. You want to make sure that you are covering up your outside spigots. And if you have particular pipes in your home that are more susceptible to freezing, like maybe those pipes that are on the outside walls of your house, you're going to want to make sure that you're dripping those faucets because this is a prolonged period of temperatures that are going to be at or below freezing. Definitely, if you're going to be outside at all, you've got to wear those extra layers. Stay extra warm because these temperatures are really going to be cold. In fact, on Saturday, we're not even going to get above freezing. We may make it through the whole weekend without getting above freezing. There's a brief period on Sunday in the afternoon where we may get up to 33 just briefly. Just 1 degree above freezing before we go back down below freezing, and then temperatures Monday morning dropping back down to about 21 degrees. On Monday, we'll get back above freezing and stay above freezing for a while there with highs in the 40s. The snow risk is mainly going to be on Saturday, really overnight Friday, early morning into Saturday. And then for metro Atlanta, most likely tapering off mid-morning to around lunchtime. And then the back edge of the snow moves away from west to east, diminishing here during the afternoon hours. And again, for metro Atlanta, we can see 1 to 2 inches of snow here and maybe 2 to 4 over to the east of us. So stay alert. This is an evolving forecast. The forecast that we were talking about yesterday has changed a little bit today. The forecast tomorrow is most likely going to change a little bit compared to what we had today because we keep fine-tuning, number one, the timing, as well as those impacts and accumulations here, the more model data that comes in. So here is what we're watching. I want to put this up full screen so you can see a little bit better here what we're watching with the potential snowfall amounts. There are going to be lighter amounts around metro Atlanta and especially over into West Georgia. I'm going to zoom in a little bit tighter so you can see the differences in the blues there. Over toward the Georgia and Alabama line, the potential for some flurries in parts of West Georgia. And then this lighter blue color here you see just to the east of 75 coming through Atlanta and then down along the 75 corridor there on the south side. That's where we could see around 1 inch or 1 to 2 inches of snow for Saturday morning. And then as you go more to the east in this darker blue color, going up 85 to the 985 split, also out 316 toward Athens, also out I-20 toward Lake Oconee. That's where we're going to see some of those higher amounts, maybe 2 to 4 inches of snow in some spots. Even Augusta might see 2 to 4 inches of snow. And then closer to the Georgia and South Carolina line, that's where we can see those totals at 4 inches plus. And also, maybe in the mountains of North Georgia, we can see some of those totals around 3 to 4 inches or maybe up to 5 inches in some spots. This is a look at the snow comparison between the American model and the European model. What both models are kind of in disagreement on is from Atlanta westward on how much snow there would be. The American model is showing less snow there, whereas the American model is showing a better coverage of snow in West Georgia and over to Metro Atlanta. Where they both agree, though, is that north and east of the city, this is the main concentration area where we're going to see some of that heavier snow. And the same thing for the European model, concentrating on that heavier snow that's going to be north and east of the city. And it's even showing that pink color, which is indicating 3 to 4, maybe even 4 to 5 inches of snow in spots in northeast Georgia. So that's where we think it's going to be heaviest. Lighter snow to the west of us and around Metro Atlanta. And really, you know, this model's showing slightly lighter conditions there too. So again, this is going to be something we're going to be fine-tuning over the next couple of days. Here is the graph model. This is a little bit different from the European model and the American model. This shows that by Saturday morning, we'll see some of that snow accumulating in parts of northwest Georgia and closer here to the Metro Atlanta area. And then through the morning hours on Saturday, a little bit more of that accumulation happening. We're seeing the light colors here, ½ inch to 1 inch, maybe some spots just west of this, just east of the city, maybe up to 2 inches, and then beyond that, 2 to 4 inches. And again, some of that darker color there showing in parts of North Georgia and over in East Georgia, where we could see some spots getting maybe 4 to 5 inches of snow, and more of that 4 to 5 inch totals over into parts of South Carolina. So again, this graph model showing not as much snow on the west side, not as much in the city, but go north and east of the city, and that's where you get into more of those heavier snow amounts there. Temperatures on Saturday are not going to go above freezing. We're only going to get up to around 28 degrees. So whatever comes down and is on the ground is most likely going to stay there, unless with the wind it gets blown around. Again, this is a light, fluffy snow, so it could blow around some of this snow on the roads and maybe clear off the roads with some of the wind there. But a lot of ifs there on how slippery those roads could be because of that snow that's going to be coming down on that in those really cold temperatures. So this is what we're watching. 60 plus hours of temperatures at or below freezing through the weekend. So that's a long, prolonged stretch of temperatures at or below freezing, and that's generally going to be from Friday night into early on Monday morning. We do have an extreme cold watch over North Georgia, Metro Atlanta, on the south side, even down into parts of central Georgia. The hours we think it's going to be the coldest will be generally between 7 o'clock Saturday night and 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. That's when it's not only going to be cold temperature-wise, Sunday morning going down to around 15, but when you factor in the wind, it's going to feel anywhere between 5 below zero and 5 above zero. Really cold, cold air there for that time frame. And again, we do think it might get up to 33 just briefly on your Sunday afternoon, and then we will see, if we will go back to below freezing, and then finally above freezing for multiple hours here going back into Monday. Here's a look at the satellite and radar. We just have a few clouds here in our area on your on tonight, on your Thursday night. And then tomorrow we're going to see a mixture of sunshine and clouds too, maybe with a better coverage of clouds at times during the day. Here's a live view looking down on Athens. Now Athens is going to be one of those areas, they got hit hard by the ice last weekend. Athens is going to be one of those areas, again, we think that will be seeing a pretty good coverage of snow around. Here's a live look over the city of Atlanta. This is from our Georgia Tech camera looking northward toward Midtown. Beautiful there on the skyline, but you can also see some of the clouds that we have in the sky. And then this is our other vantage point from our Arizona Avenue camera looking back toward the city. Again, seeing a few of those clouds around, but no rain in our area. High temperature today, 48. Our low this morning was 28. Those temperatures below the average. We should be around 55 in the afternoons and 36 in the mornings. That wouldn't be too bad. Imagine waking up to 36. Yeah, chilly. Afternoons, pretty comfortable. there at 55 degrees. These temperatures that we've had lately have just been so cold. And of course, that coldest time of day was early this morning when we hit that 28 degrees. And then we got up into the 40s here in the middle of the afternoon between 3 and 4. And now we're back down to the 30s. And we're going to see those temperatures continuing to fall from 36 that we have in Atlanta right now down into the 20s. Now, there are some areas outside the city already in the 20s, like Carrollton and Peachtree City. LaGrange is below freezing at 30. We're at freezing in Thomaston and Covington. Gainesville's 30, we're below freezing in Canton, and those 20s up in Dalton and also into Blairsville. So in Atlanta, we think we'll get to about 27 in the morning, and then during the day, moving up, eventually getting up to around 49 in the afternoon. A few clouds mixing in with the sunshine at times. So let's walk through this forecast track because this is going to show you the timing of what we're watching with the snow that's going to eventually move our way. So tomorrow morning, we'll have sunshine mixing in with a few of those clouds. Then in the afternoon, a few more clouds around. No concerns about rain moving into our area. Then look at the overnight hours, Friday night and into Saturday. Saturday morning, the better coverage of snow is going to be to the east of us. We'll have some spotty snow showers here to the west. And then some of that's going to be filling in Metro Atlanta. You see how we're just kind of right on the edge there? So there might be parts of the west side of Atlanta who don't pick up much snow at all, but east of Atlanta picking up a little bit more. So there's going to be a fine line of who gets nothing and who gets a good bit of snow. But still, by lunchtime, pretty good coverage of this snow here around over on the east side. And it's going to be snowing there for a longer period of time. That's why we think they're going to see more snow there, even going into the afternoon hours. This is at 4 o'clock. Athens and Eatonton, the back edge of the snow, still over you, but that's going to start pushing away later in the day. And then the big question is going to be whatever is left on the ground from Saturday's snow, what is going to happen with that when it is so cold and it is so windy here Saturday night and into Sunday? The wind may get rid of some of that snow on the streets, or it's going to be just so cold that it just gets crunchy and is going to be slick overnight into Sunday morning. So that's the tricky part going in through the overnight hours Saturday into Sunday. Then by Sunday at lunchtime, we're going to have sunshine. We're going to have wind. It's going to feel cold. We may get up to 33 briefly on Sunday afternoon. Then it's really cold again going into Monday morning with lows that are going to dip down into the 20s. And then finally by Monday afternoon, we'll be above freezing for multiple hours with highs getting up into the 40s. So there's that Arctic air diving down into our area here for the weekend. Saturday will be really cold. Sunday will be really cold as that Arctic air is just going to be sitting on top of us. Then it does retreat up to the north, but it's going to stay chilly on Monday. We do get back up to the 40s, and then Tuesday morning again in the 20s, but highs on Tuesday most likely into the lower 50s, as well as on Wednesday and on Thursday with those highs in the 50s. Here's a look at the low temperatures. 29 Friday, if you think that's cold, just wait till Saturday when it's 25. If you think that's cold, just wait till Sunday when it's 15. But with the wind chill, it's going to feel like it's around 0. Monday morning, 21, and then 27 on Tuesday. And then look at the high temperatures. 49 tomorrow, a high on Saturday, though, of only 28 degrees, 33 for a high Sunday, then back to the 40s Monday, and then lower 50s going into your Tuesday. So here's how everything times out as you see what we're watching there in that 7-day outlook with the high of 49 Friday, mix of sun and clouds. Then the weather impact alert for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. The main reason, because of the really cold air. The secondary reason, because of the potential for snow early on Saturday. Highs only up to 28. Then we're down to 15 Sunday, and again, wind chills near 0. 33 for a high Sunday, so maybe briefly getting up above freezing for just a little bit on Sunday before we go back to 21 Monday morning, and then 40s Monday afternoon with sunshine. Partly cloudy Tuesday. How about 51 for a high? 52 on Wednesday, but with a few showers possible. And then 50 for a high on Thursday with that 20% chance for a shower coming in for your Tuesday. But again, that's just going to be a really low rain chance. So thawing is on the way for next week when we get back up into the 50s. And even though that seems warm, that's still below the average. We should be around 55 for this time of year. So bundle up for the 11 Alive weather impact alert Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Again, we'll be watching for that snow here on Saturday morning and into the afternoon hours before it tapers off, and then watch what is left behind and how long that's going to stick around or if the wind is going to be, and wind and the dry air are going to be able to kind of dry up some of that Saturday night and into Sunday, because we're not going to go above freezing until maybe briefly Sunday afternoon. Thanks for watching this extended weather update here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. Our next update is 11 o'clock with 11 Alive News, and then we're going to have streaming updates all day long here for you tomorrow, beginning at 4:30 a.m. through our newscasts. Then we're going to have our streaming updates throughout the morning hours, our midday show, and after that, streaming updates throughout the afternoon, all through our late afternoon and early evening newscasts as well, and then streaming updates tomorrow evening too, and all day long on Saturday. So we've got you covered here weather-wise on the 11 Alive Plus app. Stream for free. Just download it on your TV. Thanks for watching, and we hope you have a great night. We'll see you back here at 11.